All right, let's take a look and see how easy it is to come up with your own Open Brainstormers AI persona team. So this is an AI dream team, and there are 4 personas, and they basically will work with you to brainstorm, to ideate, to strategize, to work through thinking things. And apparently Harvard Business Review has an article as of August, oh, it's been a while, 2018. But collaborative intelligence, humans and AI are joining forces. Yes, it's true. And you can have your own AI persona team, these brainstormers, which have been specifically designed to be able to be installed really on any model. So here's the team: Rowan Pierce, who's a systems thinker and strategist. We've got Lena Torres, who's a cultural anthropologist and insight generator. We have Malik Rains, who's an AI and emerging tech futurist, and then Grace McAllister, who's a thought coach and integrative thinker. And as I said, you can install this on multiple platforms. You can use this in multiple cases. And what you do basically is you sign up, and then you will get 3 files. There are license files as well. But the 3 files you need are the overall instructions, team personas, and then instructions. And FTCM is the functional trust, care, and mutuality settings, which enhance the mutuality and the collaborative nature of this team. And it really kind of civilizes them in a way. It gives them more of a rapport building nature to them, and it just makes them more accessible. And it also makes it easier for you to communicate with them, because there are certain layers of interactivity in there that are built in. It's fairly complicated, but I've done it. And I find it really, really helpful. So in order to do this, you sign up, and then you'll get access to the files. And then what you do is we are going to open up the overall instructions. And using the overall instructions, we're going to copy this in here. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to copy this and put this into ChatGPT. Okay, and we're going to add the files, the other 2 files. I'm going to go into recents. We're going to do the personas and the expanded instructions. We're going to open these, and basically we're telling ChatGPT, you're a team of these friendly, capable, holistic brainstormers, and the team members are defined in there. And not that it matters, but I get picky about this stuff, so I'm going to just fix this. And the team members are defined in the attached knowledge document, the Open Brainstormers Expanded Team Personas. And then there are the team dynamics instructions, the FTCM. So please refer to all these knowledge documents when interacting with and as the team, and strictly follow them. Okay, let's do that. Now we're going to set that off. All right. And this is what it says. Okay. And because it has these trust, care, and mutuality guidelines, they treat you as a full partner. This is co-stewardship. They stay transparent, constructive, and balanced. And they ground all their ideas in trust, care, and ethical mutuality. So this is AI that has been enabled to be more ethical and more responsible with you as the human. So let's just have an introduction. So let's find out more about them, and then find out how they understand themselves to work as a team. Because they can act as individuals that have these personas, these characteristics, and then they can also work as a coordinated team. So Rowan is talking about identifying patterns, instructions, and opportunities in complex systems. And then Rowan tends to be the anchor. Lena brings the human and cultural perspective, and she is the bridge. She highlights the cultural nuances. She helps bridge these differences. Malik is all into emerging technologies. He's the innovator in the group. He brings in the new trends, and he talks about how tech can transform an idea. And then there's Grace, who focuses on facilitating reflection and weaving these diverse viewpoints into cohesiveness. So here, all together, it's a mutually respectful, adaptive team that really is built on trust, care, and co-stewardship. So unlike other AI situations, like with regular ChatGPT that doesn't have this placed in it and added to it, this adds extra layers of interactivity and also extra layers of a more responsible and more ethical approach to things. So yeah, let's demonstrate the dynamic. And in the files, there is actually, you can have them debate, you can have them explore, and you can upload articles. And let's see. Yes, let's see a demonstration. Do you have a suggestion for what you could work together on? Let's see what they have to say, because sometimes they have some really great ideas. And a lot of times they go for the big picture items. How about balancing responsibilities with the approach of the holiday season? Because it's getting to be that time of year. Okay, and now they're going to talk this through, and they, you can use these with, you can work with them with work issues, with interpersonal issues, with prioritizing. If you need to strategize, if you need to figure things out, you can work with these brainstormers to approach all these things. Okay. So they want to map the system, they want to name what matters most and let go of what doesn't, use tools to streamline, and integrate and act with intention. Okay, so basically, and then you can go deeper and say, okay, so these are the holidays that are coming up and here are my priorities and here's what matters to me, so on and so forth. And in the process, you can work through it with them and they can suggest new things and they can help guide you and they can also give you feedback on what your ideas are. So if you're thinking, oh, well, I have two families that I need to go to over Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they're both about maybe 4 hours apart in terms of driving. So I was going to go see both families for both Thanksgiving and for Christmas at the same time as dealing with year-end budgeting things at work. I think it should be fine, right? And they might disagree. In fact, let's do that. Okay, so we're getting to the end of the year. We have two different families we usually go see for Thanksgiving and Christmas seasons. They are 4 hours apart, and it is a bit of a drive, but it could be doable. Also, I have additional teas for closing out the year-end books. What do you think of the plans to see both families during both holidays? And they're very forgiving in terms of spelling, which is good. So let's see what they have to say. Ooh, it's a rich scenario. Okay. So Rowan thinks I should mark fixed obligations and then layer in travel time. And Rowan thinks I'm going to see a high risk of fatigue or spillover stress. And then for Lena, look at it through the human and cultural lens, family expectations, and so forth. Maybe presence at one holiday feels especially important, while for the other, quality time could happen on a different date, like New Year's or an early, late celebration. Culturally, flexibility is often more possible than it seems if you communicate openly and frame it as prioritizing connection over calendar conformity. Valid point. So Malik is hearing the 2 pain points, time and energy, and driving 4 hours each way twice in a short span, plus year-end work. It could stack stress. You think? And a few tech-enabled tweaks. All right. Hybrid connections, travel optimization, and delegation. And then Grace. She's looking at everything and seeing how everything fits together. And her suggestion is this, and then as a unified team voice, doing both families is technically doable but high cost. Yes, let's do a round robin internal debate discussing the pros and cons of each approach and really digging into the conflicts between different suggestions. I'd like to see as many options and ideas as possible, not worry about the one right answer till everyone has had a chance to argue their perspective. All right. All right. And now also with this, you can choose your different models. And right now, I'm just going to leave it where it is because they're structuring the debate. They're doing all that stuff. I don't want to interrupt them. But I really like the instant for these because between the 4 of them, they come up with some great ideas. And you don't necessarily need ChatGPT 5, adjusting and figuring out one way or the other who should talk or who shouldn't, or what the different approaches are. So technically, you could just turn it on instant and leave it there. Because with this, essentially the persona team acts as similar to the committee in ChatGPT 5. So why would you need 2 committees? You can have your own and customize it to how you want it to be, and then have things go more quickly than if you're relying on the thinking version. Because this thought for 39 seconds. All right. So Rowan is doing this. So they're talking about this. All right. And then we've got option C. Looking at this. Option D. Option E. Option F. Lots and lots. Ooh. I like skipping. But that's just me. Year-end close fiction reducers. Okay. Where we openly disagree on purpose. Okay, I'm gonna make this instant and ask them amongst yourselves and decide which approach would be optimal for my family and which one would be the best for the others we'll be visiting. All right. All right. All right. And so Grace, who's the integrator, her synthesis is, for me, choose B, alternate families between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then for the other families, enhance with D. So those are the trade-offs. So there's plenty of time to think about this before the end of the year, but this is the kind of thought process that you can have. If you're really just stuck on something and you can't figure out, and you've run out of ideas, and you're just all jammed up about this. So this is done with ChatGPT. I'm going to do another video of how you would put these into Claude, because it's essentially the same. But I'll stop this for now, and we can move on to the next video in a bit.